Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday I played in the UJ Open. That's why there was no video. It was a very, very long day. Started off quite chaotic because half of this A and B sections just didn't pitch. And some of the kids wanted to change sections, so some of them were going upper sections, some of them were going down sections. The D and the E sections had to be combined, so we started late. It was a late end to the day. Absolutely chaotic. But I did, in between all that, play 5 rounds of chess. And the subtitle of this is "It Could Be Worse." It could be, but it wasn't. And I fell in love with one of my favorite openings again. Coming at the end of the video, stay tuned. First, we have game one, and they did the draws, and then they did some manual pairing. So I ended up actually playing the top seeded player. Which is crazy. I did have the white pieces, so I thought, well, maybe I can do something here. And then we had e4, d6, right? Book moves. This is the Piot's defense. And I saw this, I was like, oh, bother. Because I don't know why, these kind of offbeat openings, a little bit the Piot's and some of these other really random openings, the modern defense, for example, I just struggle with for a little bit for an unknown reason. So I played d4, knight f6, bishop to d3, all known stuff. G6, knight f3, bishop to g7, h3, which is a book move. It's not just completely random. I was fine. Short castles, bishop to e3, it's an okay move, and now c6. And I'm slightly better. I didn't think much at this point in time. I was just worried about development, queen to d2, just setting up this battery. And it's also helpful that I've played h3, so the knight can't come and claim this bishop. Queen c7, and I'm much better if I play correctly. The engine wants me to play c4 and just add another pawn to the center, because he's going to try and strike in the center, right? I don't do that. I put my knight forward instead. Knight bd7, which is the best move, and now I play short castles. And this is where the problem started. In less than 10 moves, I was under pressure because he played b5. Which is the best move. I did play the best move, which was bishop to h6, and then he played a5. Now, while it's not the best move, this is very intimidating when you've castled on opposite sides. And I panicked and played d5. I had a reasonable idea, right? Because if takes, I'm not going to take back. I'm going to grab here, and then support with a4, and just block everything. But he can play bishop takes h6, and he can play b4. He plays b4, which is the best move. I jump my knight to the edge. He plays c5, which is a mistake, because I can play, b3. The engine wants me already to just chop off this bishop, which I was going to do, because I've opened it up now by playing d5. That was my concern with playing it. I did calculate it. I didn't just play it spur of the moment. The time control was 55 plus 5. It wants me to already chop the bishop. I just thought I should support my knight so it doesn't get targeted. And also prevent c4, which is what I end up spending the majority of the game trying to do, because that's his big pawn break. So he plays bishop to a6. I take, and play queen to d3. Rook drops back, and now king to b1. A little bit unnecessary. It gives black the initiative back, and he uses it to play rook fc3. But now I can play knight e2. Knight d2, and still I'm preventing this. But he can play knight e5, which is the best move. Queen e2. I think the move it wants from me is queen e3, which it considers the best move. I don't understand the difference between these two moves. I assume there's a reason. I don't know what it is. I suppose if this gets played, then I get the fork. I suppose that's the idea. You prevent c4 tactically. But c4 still comes. And it's a great move. It's the best move. And this doesn't work. It goes down as an accuracy. So I've got no idea why queen e3 is better. The knight drops back though, and now I can play knight c4, which is the best move. Rook c b8 is a bad move, because now I can play f4, and the knight can't come back. I didn't. I wasted a tempo, and I played rook he1. And in this game, right, I had chances to be better. I just didn't play actively enough. So now he gets 95 again, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to take. I'm just going to play a 4. which is a bad move now, because it was going to be used to stop the knight coming here. The knight's come here, and now he can take, and now he can play knight d7, and he's going to come here. So I need to do something. So I played rook e3, which I thought was a waiting move, because I knew what he was going to do, and I wanted to prepare something. So I capture, and pressed with e5. He offered a queen trade, I took it, and I took here. And I got to this position in my head, and I thought, surely I'm not worse. I'm not, it's equal. And now I have to play a rook endgame. And anybody who's been following this like Road to Glory series, I really struggle in endgames. So he plays a4, I'm just going to double my rooks. He takes, and I have to take with this pawn, otherwise the a pawn becomes a liability because he's going to double. And now I just run, king to c1, the best move, so that this check doesn't force me up and I get mated. Don't want to get mated. So he drops back, and now I've got a couple moves to consider. Here I played king to d2, which is fine. And now king f6 comes. And now I have to be very sure of myself. What I need to do is play rook 7, e4. Drop back. Don't do this, which is what I did, because I wanted to keep my rooks on the open file. He misses it, and this was my thinking. If I can get to that pawn and like walk my king up and get to that pawn, it's going to be good for me. But I want to keep my rooks here, because I can control the play on the queen side. There's nothing for this king to do. He can't really get close unless he uses these pawns, and he might create weaknesses. So I'm going to try and run my king up and win this pawn. And surely I'm not worse. Bear in mind, I am offering a draw at every point there seems to be a good idea. So king to d3, king to f4, g3, h5, rook h8. King comes up, and now I play rook e8. Rook b7, rook e3, rook d7, king c4. Rook b7 again, and here I offered him a draw because I thought it was repetition. But I allow his rook on the a file, right? And king takes c3 when I trade the pawns is the beginning of my problems. The best move here is to play rook takes c3. Why? Because when this doesn't mean the rook can't go to b5. By taking with the king, the rook gets to b5, and then it gets to b4. And h4 was a diabolical move. Why? Because this is a problem, and now the king can go here and here. So, I defend this as much as I can, but his king gets in, and once we trade rooks, this is a completely losing endgame. And I did my best. In fact, stupidly enough, I thought that I had got a stalemate. I thought this was stalemate. It's not. I've got one legal move, which is g4. You can see it's forced, and I allowed him to mate me with a pawn. So it was a really rough start to the day. But did things get better in game 2? Maybe. Now it's always tough playing with the black pieces when you've just lost in round 2. And I was paired against the 4th seed. The 4th seed. How this guy lost in the first round, I've got no idea. And I actually played really well this game, I thought. So it's e4. Let's look at this from my perspective. c6, and we played a Caro-Kann, which I know quite a lot. We played a lot of book moves. I thought I got to this point in my head, and I was like, fine. Obviously, the idea is if he goes there, then I can jump here. And then I'm targeting that pawn twice and targeting that one. So it's not hanging a pawn. Bishop here, queen out. And look at this. From the offset, I'm equalized, and I'm maybe even slightly better. So my openings are really not a problem. A couple of inaccuracies we play, but now c takes d4. The best move. He takes with the bishop, I take with the knight. The best move. And now here, I had an idea to play bishop to a3. Obviously, I would have loved it if he would have played rook c2. Rook c2 would have been awesome, because I would have just gone here and been like bang and won the game on the spot. He didn't. He played rook cd1, the best move. I developed my rook. He kicked my bishop out. But look at this. It's -1. We keep going. Knight b4 is a step in the wrong direction. Queen to c2, and now I just played rook c6. I thought it was fine. Trade. It doesn't like me taking with the pawn. It prefers I take with the queen. It thinks this is slightly better. What? How can queen c6 be good and rook c... Oh, it wants knight takes c6. Crazy enough. It wants knight takes c6, and then maybe let the bishop come this way. Because you can't push this because I can take that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, I played b takes c6 because I was just like, I'm going to play c5 again. So he develops a knight. I play knight a6 so that I can enable c5. And also I didn't like it that the knight comes under fire when he plays knight a6, which he proceeds to play, queen a5, rook here, and c5. This is everything I wanted. Now he took, and I realized in my head, I can't take with the knight. I didn't like taking with the knight. Knight takes c5 is the best move. I didn't like that he could play knight d4. I was looking at this and I was like, that's a problem. But the engineer is such a savage. It's just like queen d3, baby. Queen d3. Because obviously if it takes, you jump in with the knight. And then your knight will also target that, and it'll be a fork. Just for example, this, I hit that, and I hit that. Rook c7, which hits the bishop. Then probably something like, it says bishop a3, but I probably would have played rook e1 or rook e8. And then, now we've got knight c6, for example, and stuff like that, bishop f8, probably. And this is the position the engine is fine with me getting. I played bishop to c5, cutting the whole tangent short because I thought, well, now he can't go there. And if he does, I'll just snap take. So I give up my bishop, but I get my knight in. And here it plays queen d4. Now, what would some of you play in this position? Okay, whatever you just said, I didn't play it. I played queen a5. And it only dawned on me when he picked up his rook that my knight was hanging. Yeah, lost the game in one move. I took here, but this game, I'm going to try and create counterplay, but I don't think I have enough pieces. In fact, I have to trade queens. But I actually thought I might be able to draw this endgame. I know me, professional endgame player for life, better than Magnus Carlsen, what. You saw that in the first game. I'm such a good endgame player. I tried my very best, not gonna lie. I looked for every trick. I just ended up getting mated. King to h8, look, the best move, I knew it was king to f1. Just to be completely clear, right? I knew king to f1 was the best move. But what happens is h7 comes, right? And then I have to sack, and this comes with check. And then look, I can play like king e8, but my pawn isn't fast enough, I don't think. King e8, and then he's able to get back, and my pawn is not quick enough, which is a bugger. So I played king to h8, and then he found rook a1, rook a8 check, and then I resigned, because it's mate 1, here, and takes, because my king can't escape. So real bugger. But game 3 is kind of where everything started to turn. Had the white pieces again. No buys. I played all 5 rounds. If you want to know why I'm telling you about no buys, because last week at the UJ Trials video on the channel, I of course I didn't get an official buy, but my opponent didn't show up for one game. So I played e4 again, e5, knight f3, and I played a Spanish. I thought that was going to be really interesting, going to lead to a dynamic game, and it certainly did, because my opponent played queen to f6. Yeah. Well, I played knight to c3, knight g7, which is the best move, because my idea would obviously be to play knight d5. Putting my knight forward, hitting the queen, forcing it back, and just having a really comfortable position. So d3, a6 is the best move. I dropped my bishop back a couple times. Played a4, which is a typical Spanish move, so I was going to stick to those ideas. Played knight d4, I took, dropped my knight back to e2. Played short castles, and then the game really kicked off here. f4. By the way, if you are following, my opponent made 4 inaccuracies in a row. Look at that. Knight to c6 inaccuracy. Bishop to e7 inaccuracy. h6 inaccuracy. f4 and now d6 inaccuracy. 4 inaccuracies in a row, and I've got 3.7 advantage. e5. D takes e5. Now the best move is to take back. I decided to jump my knight in first and then take. Discovered attack on the queen, and the queen is borderline trapped. So he takes, which is the wrong move, because bishop takes f7, And then here, ladies and gentlemen, I trap the queen. Bishop to f4. Now you might be saying, wait, hang on, the queen's not trapped. Yes, it can't go there or there. It can't go there. It can't go there. It can't go there. It can't go there. And it can't go there. It obviously can't take these two pieces because they're both protected. But there is this square. Why can't the queen go to this square? Because I've got bishop takes c7 check. Boom. So instead of that, after bishop to f4, they just give me the queen. They play bishop to f6. I take. They take with the knight. Now here, I was just like full liquidate mode. I picked up my rook and I sacked it. In retrospect, probably I should have just taken with the knight, right? 100% the better move. But I thought my knight was really strong, and I was just like, boom, boom. I got my bishop out the way, because I only realized after that, oh, my bishop's actually hanging. King e7, drop my bishop back to h3, which looks silly, right? But he's still got this bishop, and I'm like, I'm in a winning position. I'm up a queen. Just don't bottle it. You know, yes, the rooks are going to come onto this file. Just protect this pawn, and you'll be fine. So rook hg8, queen e2, b4, which was really random, rook f1, rook f8, and look at this. Knight takes f6. Beautiful. Rook to g5 is the best move, but I find a fork, kind of. And then I play king takes f1, the best move. Bishop takes g2, bishop takes g2, and I just... decimation. After trapping the queen, decimation. And I won this game in, I'm not even joking, 39 moves. I found checkmate. Absolute decimation. Two really high rated opponents, you know, 1600 and a 1400. I play someone lower rated than me. Decimation. Absolute decimate. I don't understand how I am as a chess player. I don't understand how this functions. But an absolute decimation. I keep saying that word a lot. I really like it. Then we move on to game 4. Game 4 was rough. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. Look, the previous game I played at like 90% accuracy. I played at something really high in terms of accuracy. This game was not as accurate. It was my worst game of the 5. e4, c6. I played a Caro-Kann again. Let's switch it to be my perspective because I'm playing with the black pieces. And it was an advanced Caro-Kann again. It wasn't, you know, the same line. But I just kind of... two things, right? So I play... while it's not the most cutting-edge theory, this is kind of stuff that I play, right? Knight bd2, c5. You know, and I'm much better. A knight c6 is not as good. I should have taken immediately. And now I play h5. h5 is purely to prevent g4. It's probably not necessary now that he's castled. I could 100% play takes, which is the best move because I want a pawn. h3, now I take, which is the best idea. And bishop to e7. He drops the bishop back, and I play short castles. Right. The way I kind of maneuver this game, because he starts pushing these pawns, right? So he starts closing everything down on the queen side. I double my rooks on the open file. I play h4 when he looks like he might be trying to reroute this way. Force him to go back. Play bishop f8, which, while it looks silly, is actually about to facilitate this beautiful knight maneuver to go guard my weakness. Literally. He plays knight b3. I play knight ce7. He goes here. I kick out the queen once, and then I go here. And I have a beautiful position. You know, you get... okay. Queen a5 is where it ends. I get here, right? Beautiful position. Really. Like, my rooks are decently placed. I need to just make sure I don't hang this one. Worst case scenario, I trade it. But, you know, queen a5, and I'm threatening that pawn twice. And, you know, my queen can get in. My knights look threatening. It's good stuff, right? Instead, I played queen a5. Which loses on the spot to bishop to d2. Just a skewer. And the game's gone. Like, I can maintain defense of this. The engine wants me to just hang my knight, by the way. Just wants me to go here. Allow bishop takes f4, and then escape with the rook. I think rook c4, yeah. Escape with the rook. That's what it wants. I thought about that, but I just thought to myself, well, why would he take my knight? I suppose it's because it's free. But I was just like, what can I do here? Because I can't move my queen anywhere to maintain defense of this. And if I do nothing, they're just going to go here, and it's going to be even worse. So queen a6, I just decided, give this up, play b6, and we're going to just play this position. While I have a queen, I'm going to try. I'm not going to give up. You saw that in the SA Open. I fell for another skewer, and by this point my head was on Mars. Rook takes a3, so I give up the rook for the bishop, but I do get a pawn, and we get to this position, right? And here it's just about trying to create counterplay. But look at that. He's got both pieces on the 7th, pigs on the 7th. He's threatening mates. Obviously, this is defended for now. I overreact, and I play knight h6. I didn't need to do that. I thought, I need to defend this pawn. I don't. He now plays knight to g5, and it's game over. I threaten the rook a couple times, and I get to here. Because I thought, this is what I calculated. I was like, here. Then I play something like knight f1, which would have been fine. And then if takes, I can take here. And my queen defends this. And it's still lost. It's still 100% lost. But I've got something to play for. I've got nothing to play for. But queen d2 came. He played here. And now I needed to find a way to move. I didn't play knight f1. I played king h7. Which hangs mate in 2. I realized that after I played it. Because he's got... here. He's got knight g5. Which hangs the knight, but it removes the defender of that. So 42 moves. I went and obliterated someone in 39 and then got obliterated in 42 moves. But the day wasn't lost. The day wasn't lost. Because I ended this by reviving an old favorite of mine. And really, I fell in love with it again. It wasn't a perfect game. It wasn't a perfect game. But it was a beautiful game. We're going to once again look at it from my perspective. E4, and I'd been playing the Caro-Kann all day, and I was sick of it. I'd lost both games, so I decided to play E6. The French defense. Knight to C3, D5, D4, and bishop to B4. The winner of French. Bishop to D2. And then it's been a while, so I played the wrong move. Or the wrong move order. I played knight to f6, which is not a good move. e5, and knight f3 is a mistake, but that's only because you need to play queen to g4, which I thought was part of an opening line. I thought this was like the poison pawn variation, where you let them get this, and I can play something like c5 here. I thought this was part of it. It's not. Or what's it? Short castles here. No, king f8. King f8 is the best move, according to the engine. So I thought this was a line. It's not. Doesn't matter. Knight to f3. Shame. And you will notice this person is unrated. I don't know if this was her first tournament. I think it might be. Or she's just not associated with Chess SA. But she didn't have a rating. She had a 0 rating, but I'm not going to put 0 there. That's like rude. c5. a3. Bishop to a5. Which is not the best move, because now she can play b4. Which looks impossible, right? Because takes. And then, if you take back, then I just take this and I've won a pawn. But you wouldn't take back, is the thing. You would play here. Threatening to come and give me a check. So I would have to castle, and then you could go here. And then I would have to go here. And white from this position is better. Unbelievably so. Because I think you're also just getting your knight in here. Slight inaccuracy probably in this move order, but you're just getting a very powerful knight. And I have to play like knight c6. And then there's like c3. Oh, c3. Yeah, so 2 times I could have been punished, but they played bishop to b5. And now it was just motorboard, so short castles, which gets out the way of a lot of things. Take, and now b4. So maybe she switched her move order. I don't know. C takes b4. You see, she plays the knight b5 idea, but now I can take on a3. I just take on a3. I couldn't before, but now I can. My bishop is defended, so rook takes, and now I just turn on the jets. Bishop takes, queen takes, and knight b6, the best move. And unfortunately here the game was handed to me on a silver platter when she played knight takes a7. The only blunder, according to chess.com, that my opponents made in 5 rounds. the only blunder. Because here I found knight to c4, which is just simply a fork of the queen and of the rook. And once I take the rook, I've got queen to b6, which now exploits this. You might say, okay, so you win the knight. No. Knight takes c8, I must take with the rook. Reason being, if I take the queen, right, I'm probably still winning, but this is significantly harder to win. Because I would play rook a1 check, you would get like king here, and this. And I would play 2 rooks versus 2 knights, which should be winning, but we've already seen I can't play endgames. So, I just get all the way here, and I'm like, look, rook f takes c8. Just get here, the queen has to move, and then you're just going to win the second rook. So now I'm completely winning. I've got 2 rooks for a knight. The knight comes forward, threatening mate. I did see this. So I played g6. She went for it again, but rook takes. And here there are a couple ways to preserve mate, but it is mate in 8. She went the wrong way, and I found checkmate, which was very, very beautiful. So I delivered 2 checkmates. Look, we've already gone on a while. I fell in love with the French defense again. I didn't play it properly. I didn't study it, but I fell in love with it again. It was such a beautiful, beautiful opening. Here are some 2 photos from the event. It was a beautiful playing venue. Look, it was a rough tournament, but I got 2 out of 5, and I finished 17th out of 23, having been seeded in officially 9th out of the 23 players that actually played. I played overall over the 5 games with an average accuracy of about 82.3, which is actually my second highest accuracy of the 5 events I've played, or 6 events I've played. Which I can see. And I think of the games, right? I lost the first game to a much higher rated player in an endgame, which was tricky, and I just didn't see the actual nuances of the position and what was actually required. I mean, I finished with a performance rating of about 1345, which is, it is what it is. I lost to everybody who was higher rated than me and beat everybody who was lower rated than me, which is generally how things will go. So I might gain rating, but even if I don't, I'm not too upset. I was upset on the day because I lost 2 games, and then when I lost that third one, stupidly, I was just, my head was on Mars. But that final round was a beautiful win, tied in with the second one. It's not the worst score, it's -1, which I also had at the UJ Trials. It's not my worst tournament performance. SI Open and the first event I ever played, the JMC Kickoff, were both -3. So it could have been worse. Overall, not too unhappy. Chess.com estimates my ELO to be about 1950, which it's not, but that's another day. Look, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave some comments, leave some suggestions, some training ideas. Yeah, I think I'm going to play the French defense a lot more. I really fell in love with it again. I didn't play it perfectly, but it was just so nice to be playing that position again. And while it is similar to the Caro-Kann, they are actually quite polar opposites. Caro-Kann is a bit more, I feel, positional. French defense is so attacking, and I fell in love with it again. I might not use it often. I might only use it for players rated lower than me who I think I can beat when I need wins. But it is such a beautiful weapon, and I'm going to welcome it back into my repertoire with open arms. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments below.